Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of Voices of Blagoevgrad, and today we're going to interview the president of the American University, Dr. Minninger. Are you ready?
From a communications perspective, both the benefit and the challenge of what we do here in Blagoevgrad as an educational community is we have to talk to the world. You have people who come from all over the world here. You yourselves as Active Bulgarian Society come from all sorts of places in Europe and beyond, and our university then draws students and faculty members and community contributors from truly all over the world. And so for us to communicate well then about who we are, what we do, what it means for us all to exist together collaboratively in Blagoevgrad, this requires a lot of different audiences being taken into account when we want to communicate. So the one thing you can communicate to everyone, regardless of what language you're speaking or what cultural perspective you have, is that everybody values the fact that Blagoevgrad is a safe place. Right? It's a place where you can feel comfortable. It's a place that is accessible, yet wonderfully remote when you need it to be. Well, I like to believe that initially we collaborate simply as members of the same small town, members of the same society. But of course there are formal ways in which we cooperate as well, and that would be through things like the partnership that exists between Southwest University, American University in Bulgaria, and the municipality. So there's a sort of formalized relationship that these three groups or institutions or communities have in which we seek to promote Blagoevgrad as an education hub. Right, as a university city. And so for all that means, not only then the educational opportunities that are there, but all of the civic opportunities that exist, all of the pleasantries that come with the forests and the pools and the parks and all of the businesses that exist in Blagoevgrad, but also then what the municipality could offer in terms of security and support and resources and so forth. So all that partnership, we can all work together to kind of frame the city as such. So that's definitely one of the major formal ways that we do that. But the other thing that we do then as a university is we organize and sort of co-organize, co-facilitate various kinds of events for university students. And obviously we do that for our own students, but we try to do events that also can include students from Southwest. They try to have events that can include people from our university, and in general to sort of see the borders, as it were, between our group communities as porous, as something that where there is positive interaction. So you work with local institutions, you promote those institutions. An example of this was one earlier this fall where we had the Welcome to Blagoevgrad event in which the various universities were brought together. Everyone was kind enough to indulge us in a bilingual event in which we provided translations, but English language was used at times, and that was wonderful. But it was a place where local businesses and organizations could promote themselves to new students that are there, both from Bulgaria and abroad, and where our international students, where others that are international here, can feel welcomed, can feel oriented in a sense, and get to know who and what the city is. More visibility can always help. My experience is that young people never have enough stages to showcase who they are, what they do. But whether or not we do enough of it, I think we do certainly provide, a sound number of opportunities for our students and for other young people to demonstrate their creative products, to demonstrate their own initiative in various ways. From our university standpoint, from AUBG, we interact with, and our young people, meaning our students, interact with the community in various ways. There's student clubs that receive sponsorship, and that includes certain kinds of collaboration for their club activities. But I think too of what we get out of the classroom in different ways as well. So we have, for example, various courses in our business curriculum where we've had instructors and students work together to develop strategy plans for, let's say, parts of the, to support municipality strategies. Or we've had marketing groups help design marketing strategy for example, the local museum. Or again, speaking of the museum, we have history classes in which the instructors have brought students to use the archives and to learn to do history in some senses from the local resources that are there. So in this case, there are great opportunities for students and young people to sort of get into what they are interested in and have a chance to show it. As an inclusive community that actively does seek to bring international students together with the large Bulgarian community that we have, we want our international students to have opportunities. We try to make up and find good academic opportunities. So there are case studies that we'll find in the classes where students have opportunities to learn from people in local organizations, local businesses, whether that's the businesses and those people with experience and expertise coming to campus to visit us, or whether we're going out to visit them. But we like to see interaction in that way. Our media and journalism students often find themselves in the community doing interviews or taking interviews for that matter in the opposite direction, but visits to the museum, visits to again some of the other civic organizations from which there's really so much to learn. Not just about what's in the area and what's available, but about what can take them beyond just Blagoevgrad. So in other words, how Blagoevgrad is a center for experience and then beyond some. But there are also programs and activities on our campus in which we work with our international students to learn more about Blagoevgrad. So they do a scavenger hunt when they first get here to learn more about what the city is like. We have a program that is run by some of our more advanced students, which is called the Mentify program. So, just in a short version of it is that it helps new students get oriented to AUBG. And while this program can be for everyone, this means we have certain versions of welcoming them to Blagoevgrad that involve, learning cultural specificities and maybe taking language classes and in general getting oriented and feeling comfortable with their new home. So that's we want to use that term intentionally because we want Blagoevgrad to feel like a home for everybody. A number of things do. We had mentioned earlier, I think, the fact that Blagoevgrad is an especially safe and accessible community, and I think that message resonates strongly with many people. I think we are a very inclusive, multicultural community, and we not only therefore demonstrate the international quality of what multicultural means, but what that means simply within Bulgarian society. Bulgarian society itself is a wonderful and open and inclusive place in that respect, taking in many different cultural and historical differences. So that's beautiful and I think accessible and demonstrable on campus. Maybe just one other note here that I think the other thing about what we promote as an AUBG education is we're a very student-centered place. And certainly it's not to say that our experts and our faculty don't do research, which they do. Our academics are extremely high level in terms of quality and breadth, but we focus that towards students and student education. So the attention and mentorship that students receive, I think, is again one of those messages that, as you were asking about, really resonates well with people beyond, because it makes for a very friendly and open place. To begin with even, I would distinguish between two types of retaining, because there's retaining people who would live here in the sense of remaining here, but there are also people who retain the spirit and appreciation of Blagoevgrad. So we have alumni who, go abroad, go back home, go somewhere else, and they still refer to Blagoevgrad as a place that was a second home to them. So they return for other events, other things, and before I get to answering the question about people who do stay, I think it's equally important to note how important it is that people, even when they leave, retain a wonderful sense of how good that experience was. That goes a long ways to preserving the flourishing of a community, even beyond its own borders. Now, of course, career opportunities is probably the number one thing that keeps people in a place. Are there continued growth of career opportunities? Are there professional networks that can be expanded in Blagoevgrad? That plays a role in student decisions. So, visibility matters a lot. Where can students find these opportunities? Are we fostering, say, startup and internship ecosystems? Are there sort of these creative industries that can flourish in Blagoevgrad as well? We have a student accelerator, for example, called Elevate, and they are working, their way through new business projects and models and learning, and that's another place where that kind of, creative energy gets developed both on our campus, but outside of it too, together with the community. So those are areas where we can be more visible in trying to make sure we retain talent. Anything that young people do, in a sense, contributes to their identity. So the question is how vibrant that activity really is. So if you have cultural festivals, if there are club events, if there are charity campaigns, if there are competitions that bring people to campus from outside, all of these things, make an impact on the way in which we shape and identify our own community. So that's why our own alumni call AUBG a second home, whether they're from Blagoevgrad, whether they're from Bulgaria, or whether they're from anywhere else. So we feel like that plays a great role in it. There are partnerships that can be worked together with the youth and the city's identity, such as Active Bulgarian Society. Right? These are exactly the kind of partnerships that bring opportunities for meeting more people, that produce internships, that produce exchanges of ideas. There was a sustainability project that was run last spring on campus that was a great example of working together with ABS for different voices and different kinds of students to understand something that is very much linked to identity, which is how do I understand myself in the world vis-a-vis the ecology of this or the sustainability of the places in which we live or the resources that we use. The easiest answer is always, well, one collaborates by creating more initiatives, more events, and so that's quite obvious. But I think more importantly, perhaps, is how it is that we communicate together about those events. So, in terms of sharing initiatives, then, are there ways in which we can share communication channels, in which we can message together and then message separately into our own networks? So expanding that and expanding the communication means expanding opportunities to work together with our study abroad and Erasmus exchange office. So that side of our international office is another opportunity together with ABS for working with students who are coming from a lot of different places and will have a lot of common backgrounds or at least common intentions with those in ABS. And so I think that is another great opportunity for finding sort of confluence in our own interests. I thought about this for a little bit as you asked the question before, and I think the answer for me is anything that we can do to continue to create meaningful opportunities for anyone from the AUBG community, not just the students, but especially the students, but anyone, and those members of the Blagoevgrad community, whoever they may be, to meet and interact face-to-face. Opportunities for open dialogue that is not just, through the social media functions, but face-to-face together, whether that's, a tough conversation about how we want to, engage problems that are happening in the city, or whether it's a totally celebratory, festive environment in which you're, enjoying, a holiday together. I think that's the key element of continuing to create opportunities, just to make sure that we're there together doing it. AUBG is built with an open campus, right? And that to me is both a symbolically important element of who we are within the city, and it says we are part of the city, quite literally. We're not just in it, but we are of its fabric. We are open to anyone who's walking through campus who wants to come to the coffee shop to be part of it. So when we have then an event on campus like an all-campus picnic, or we have the Dance and Taste Fest, where all the international students are out expressing and showing and demonstrating their traditions and backgrounds. But those end up all being open to the community. And so I think, of course we hope that it works both ways, right? We are both an open campus, and Blagoevgrad by its nature as a city is open to us. And so I think making sure that those interactions happen is one of the things I'm absolutely most proud of in terms of how AUBG interacts. take the opportunities that you have right now and appreciate them. And appreciating where you are and the beneficial environment in which you exist, in which you get to interact with others, and taking advantage of the people that are around you, to enjoy them, to learn from them. It's a vibrant community here, and it's one of those things that it sounds like, an old person melancholically looking back on their life and, saying, back then it was like this. Enjoy what you have right now. It really is an incredible place to be, and you don't want to miss the fact that you have it when you have it.